Yeah, so something to realize when you want to do periscopes in a car, and this is something for everybody that is just joining me again, make sure you have your phone charged, because your phone will die in the middle of your periscope, and you'll have a lot of people wondering what the heck happened. I bet some people think I got in like a car crash or something. No, my phone battery just died, and luckily I have a backup charger here in the car, but I apologize for that. So I'll give everybody just a few seconds here to get back on, since we had about 30 people on this morning, and I just lost them all with my phone dying. So we'll let them hop back in here. But to kind of go with the point where I was talking about is, what if this was your business model? We just mentioned all of kind of the stocks and the return and how to make $1 million by the time you retire, that kind of stuff. So what if you were to take $1,000 and invest it into some really high moving items? So say it's that item from Walmart that is at a 5,000 sales rank, but you only get 20% on it. And you just don't want to buy it because it doesn't meet your standards of a little bit higher return. Well, what if you were to switch your standards? We know that a lot of the people that are in this group or in other groups have been told not to buy that item. Someone can make some money off of it. Not a lot, and there's a lot of more items out there that you can make a lot more money off of. But what if you were to buy it? What if you were to buy only items under $20,000 or $20,000 in sales rank and send them in and have them all sell within a week? So we start looking at it, and so 20% return, you're looking at, you made $200 off of your $1,000. And buy what would be something that is a very low sales rank item with a smaller return, say 10%, 20%. Right? It sounds crazy, but just listen, there's an idea to this. So say you're able to flip that item in a week, and then you go back and you buy it again and flip it in the next week. You can look at each week as a period. So if anyone's on their computer right now looking up that making $1 million by the time you retire chart, if you were to pull it up, you'd see there's about, I think there's about 30 periods that are in there. So you can turn that $1,000 into $1,200. Then you buy into that again, buy the same type of products, the fast return, and flip it again. So then you take your $1,200 and you're going to make, let's see, that would be, my math is blah, blah, blah. So whatever it would be. And you keep reinvesting that entire amount to keep flipping it. So you're essentially mimicking the whole concept of compounded interest, but you're doing it with an item that you can sell in a week that's going to give you that percent return instead of waiting a year. So you're able to shrink time, which is one of our most valuable resources. So those charts tell you, okay, if you do this, you will get this, and you keep going. So my whole idea with this business model, and I'm not saying, yeah, nice chin, sorry about that, I'm driving, I can have a double chin all I want, but hi from Australia too. So anyway, what I'm saying with this is there's a business model that's kind of been untapped by most people. I'm not saying that it's the best business model in the world, because there are items that you can return for a lot more. But if you were doing this as a part-time hobby and not looking to go full-time with it, it would be a very sustainable business model that could be done. And someone brings up a very valid point about scale. Now, what happens when I'm at $50,000? Am I going to go buy $50,000 of the same product that's at 10%? Well, here's my experience with it. On most items in stores or online, people will just automatically reject anything under 30% return. That's just a general rule of thumb. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because I tell everybody I look for 50 or 60% return. But there are a lot of items that I've scanned, and you look at it and you go, I can make 30 cents on that. Why would I do this? Well, if you had a pretty standard business model where that's what you were doing, you would be able to find it to a point. And I do agree that scale would be an issue, and I think you would have to maybe bump up your percentage return just a tad and inquire and get some help. So that could be something like a prep service or hiring an employee. But just keeping those resources at a minimum when you're trying to flip this, it could work. That's how my brain thinks. And then I like to also think of my FBA portfolio as a portfolio. It's a stock. I think of Amazon as a stock market, just something I can control and I have a lot more inside information about because I am a consumer of those products. So in my portfolio, I like to build it out so that I minimize my risk across each thing. So when I tell you guys that I like to buy under $150,000 in all of my products, and I like to make this much money on them, blah, 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 there are always exceptions to those rules. So I'd like to have my low risk items, the ones I know that are going to be selling all the time. So those are my items typically under $50,000 in sales rank with about 40 to 60% return and pretty great condition, have a great sales history on Amazon. I like to grab those as a pretty good chunk of what I'm doing. Then I have my medium risk or my mid-growth stocks. So those are the items that have a sales rank between $50,000 to $100,000. I need a little bit more return on those because there is a little bit more risk tied with them, and I'm willing to hold them a little bit longer to get my money out of them. And then there are always the items that are the speculative stocks. Those are the ones that may be a $400,000 sales rank. And what we're doing there is sometimes I'm willing to shoot for a really, really high return, even though my sales rank is really, really high. And the whole idea behind that is that sales rank is something that can be manipulated in certain ways. So back to kind of economics 101, supply and demand, as price shifts, the quantity demanded also increases or decreases. So if my quantity demanded of, say, soap is 5 at a price of $200, soap's ridiculous on that, and I drop the price to $150, the quantity demanded, I'm going to shift down that demand curve, and that quantity demanded is going to increase. So now I may sell 10 of them. So selling 10 of them will actually manipulate the sales rank to show that it's selling higher or more against the other products in that category. So don't let that sales rank number completely paralyze you with purchasing decisions, because it can be manipulated. And I think that's something a lot of people miss out on. If I have, now, when we were doing Godfather deals in the Prime, when we were getting all of the affiliate sales and all of that, we could watch an item like an automotive, and the Pistons, for example. If anybody was around for the Pistons, you guys saw it, but the Pistons were a sales rank of $1 million in automotive. They dropped from about $800 to like $100, I think, or some. It was a huge price drop. Mike Garner posted it as a bolo, but he said this is a long shot. The rank is not very nice about this, or not very pretty. In a matter of a day, that sales rank went from like 1 million down to 10,000 in automotive. So you may be wondering, wow, that's a great product to buy. We should do it. It was artificially dropped because we had such an influx of purchasing at that time. So the rank can be manipulated. Our group of Godfather Deals and other FBA groups is probably responsible for shifting those sales rank numbers across multiple products, especially those that go in and out of stock quite often. So never, ever just go off of a quick glance on a product to see the sales rank. That's why we recommend Camel, or Keepa for the sales rank history, because you can manipulate it so easily. Going from 1 million to 10,000, that should not be done. But when you're looking relative to other items in that category, that one was selling really, really well because of us. I mean, it did, and people were still able to buy it and sell it for some profit, but a lot of the orders got canceled because Amazon wasn't looking for selling that much. They just wanted to get rid of the stock that they had. Then all of a sudden, 2,000 of them are ordered, and we're like, what's going on? So that's just something to think about when you're looking at the sales ranks of products. That's why I like those lower sales ranks products, because they're already low. They can't be artificially manipulated. They may bounce up and down, but they're kind of your stocks like Apple or Amazon or Disney or Procter & Gamble, those kinds of stocks. They have low risk. They're volatility in sales rank. You'll start hearing me talk a lot about Amazon as a financial market. It's how it is. So the volatility of an item that is less risky is going to be a really steady sales rank. So just keep that in mind. And I hope that you guys have learned something. Like I said, this business model definitely wouldn't be for everyone. It's not for me. But for somebody who does this as a part-time hobby and is looking for some way to kind of get started, it's an idea. I thought of it when I was first starting on Amazon. I thought, well, if I can control my amount return and really push it through quickly, why not do that? I mean, it's like investing in the stock market. So I'm going to head to work, guys. I will talk with you all later, and have a great day.